Gravity guiding your roots into the earth, allowing you to settle. Watching the breath, witnessing the breath in and the breath out. Not controlling, just allowing. Aware of the vast sky above you. And feeling into that vastness. The body held by the earth and held by the sky. We are the earth. We are the sky. Using the security, the support of the earth to allow the body to settle and lengthen. And as your spines lengthen, your hearts open. Our hearts open to the morning around us. We are the earth. We are the sky. We are the life that's held in the morning. Sunrise, birds, sounds and rhythms. We are all that our awareness holds. We are life. Allow the body to land on the ground beneath you. Feel the grounding. Feel the support of the earth. Gently deepening your breath. Soft breath in, soft breath out. But allowing it to move deeper. Aware of the breath moving into the front body. Aware of the breath moving into the back body. Inhales, filling the side body. Exhaling, starting to gather the belly in and up to release the breath. Making space for that deep inhale. Making the inhales and the exhales the same length without efforting. The jaws released, the shoulders rest. And setting your intention for your practice. What is your hope for your mind, your body, your spirit? What are you working on in your everyday life? Placing that in an I am statement and repeating that softly to yourself a few times as if it were true and already happened. With your next inhale, allow the arms to extend up overhead, reaching through the fingertips, but softening through the shoulders. Extending maybe into the feet, reaching into the heels as the toes draw towards the knees. Pointing the toes, noticing where you feel that stretch. allowing the breath to move freely. And with your next exhale, the hands float to either side of the hips. Inhale into the front and back of the heart space, and exhale, one knee and then the other draws in for a hug. Clasping in back of the thighs, the shins if you feel comfortable, but soft shoulders. Maybe you get some motion, rocking from side to side. Maybe you rest in stillness, just exploring the back body with the breath. And then releasing the bind and floating one foot and then the other softly to the earth. With your exhale, the belly gathers and draws towards the earth, opening up the lower back. With your inhale, hip points rock to the knees. Exhaling, opening up the lower back as you draw the belly towards the earth. Inhale, hip points to knees. Rocking forward and back on the sacrum. Starting to become aware of what you've brought to your practice. What do you notice? What do you feel? Using the breath to soften. And coming to stillness there, and maybe stepping the feet a little closer to the sitting bones so that the ankles are under the knees. Tucking the shoulders a little closer together. Allowing the chin to tuck towards the notch in the collarbone and then softening there, lengthening through the back of the neck. With your exhale, pressing into the feet, and with your inhale, lifting the hips, whatever amount feels right for you. With your exhale, lowering back down. Moving in and out of bridge and floating back down again. Inhaling up, exhaling down, maybe moving a little higher as you work your way up the back body to gently lift the heart and slowly lower down with control, working into the back. Maybe 2 more rounds of breath like this. Curious about the back body, the front body, and using the breath to soften. Not forcing yourself. As always, yoga should feel good. Back out of anything that doesn't feel good. And then coming to rest with the hips on the earth. And exhale, the right knee draws in for a hug. Maybe getting some movement here, rolling through the hips, making circles, forward, back, side to side, whatever feels good for you. The right knee is in, the left foot can be on the floor with a bent knee, just to soften through the lower back, just a suggestion, your practice. You get to do what feels good for you, finding stillness there. And with your inhale, reach, extend that heel up to the ceiling as you root the right hip to the earth. Finding length and breathing into the back of that thigh, being gentle with yourself. What do you notice? What do you feel? Honor it. Making some circles through the ankle as if you had a crayon on that big toe. Slow, mindful circles using the breath to direct the motion. And then finding stillness there and reversing those circles. And then coming to stillness and fanning the toes away from each other and curling them in. Fanning them open, curling them in, working into the toe joints. Hopefully you've been doing a lot of walking. Finding stillness there, keeping the foot flexed and crossing that ankle over the thigh. And softening that right knee away from you. Equal weight in both sides of the hips. Maybe this is where you're going to stay. Just breathing into the sensation in the right hip, the right thigh. Keeping that foot flexed, the right foot flexed. Maybe stepping that left heel a little closer to the sitting bones. And then noticing how this feels. Maybe you're backing out of it. Maybe you're staying here. Maybe with your next exhale, as you keep the right foot flexed, both knees float over to the left. And then inhale up to center. Exhale, allowing the right hip to lift. Maybe keep working that right knee away from you and inhale up to center. If this doesn't feel good, resting in stillness and just breathing into that right thigh, right hip. Last time, exhaling over, inhaling up, and finding stillness there. With your next inhale, the leg extends, right leg extends straight up to the ceiling, reaching into that heel and bending the knee and floating that foot to the earth. Sliding it out in front of you, letting the left leg come to meet it so that both legs are extended straight out in front of you. And then using the breath to scan your body. Is the right side resting on the earth a little differently than the left side? Without judging, we're just noticing and using those exhales to soften. Deep inhale fills the front and back of the heart space, and with your exhale, the right foot comes to the floor with the bent knee, and with your inhale, the left leg extends straight up to the ceiling. And noticing how this feels. Maybe this side's a little different. As you settle into equal weight in both hips and extend the heel up to the ceiling. And then make some circles through that ankle. 3 times around, slow and mindful in one direction, and 3 times in the other. And then finding stillness there. And fanning the toes away from each other and curling them in. Moving into the toe joints. And then finding stillness there, rooting into that left hip and lengthening into that heel. Keeping that left foot flexed, crossing the ankle over the thigh. Softening that left knee away from you with the exhale. Settling into stillness here, using the breath to open deeper. And if you have the space, stepping that right heel a little closer to the right sitting bone. And noticing how this feels, and maybe you're backing out of it. Maybe you're staying right here in stillness. Maybe you're keeping that left foot flexed, and with your exhale, rocking both knees over to the right, working that left knee away from you to keep the length in the left side body. Deep inhales, complete exhales, drawing you back up. Notice what you notice without judging. And then finding stillness the next time you come back to center, and inhale and extend that leg straight up again. Reach into that heel, lengthen one more time, bend the knee, float that foot to the earth, extend it out in front of you and let the right leg come to meet it. Always moving slowly and mindfully with the breath, not being in a rush to get into the final pose, the final resting place. Honoring the journey. Noticing, does the right side body feel any different than the left side body? Can you direct the breath onto the back, into the back, to fill the back of the lungs? Grateful for the breath, right? With your next exhale, gather the belly, drawing one knee and then the other in for a hug. And getting some movement here, rocking from side to side. Maybe forward and back. Finding stillness again, extending both legs straight out onto the earth. Walking both legs over to the right. And inhaling the left arm alongside your ear. As you have equal weight in both hips, resting flat on the earth, shoulders flat on the earth, breath moving freely. And moving into the right side body. And maybe the shoulders shift a little towards the left. Maybe with the next exhale, you have a little more space to walk the legs a little further without efforting, just honoring your body wherever it is today. Deep inhales, complete exhales. Aware of the ribs in the right side, expanding to accept the breath. Exhaling there and walking both legs back to center and shifting the shoulders back in alignment with the hips. Walking both legs over to the right. Are we walking both legs over to the left? I'm confused now. Janet always cues me in. Inhaling the arm overhead that you want to open opposite of where the feet are. And breathing into that space. I can't see you on the floor. I'm not doing the practice with you. So please forgive my rights and lefts as I get lost in my words. Find the breath in the side body and that opening from armpit to hip and allow it to fill. Maybe you're able to walk the legs over a little further. Maybe you're able to extend a little deeper. Softening through the shoulders and the jaw, resting both hips equally on the earth. And then walking both legs back to center and that arm floats down, inhaling there, exhaling, knees draw up over the hips as if you were sitting in a chair. So there's a right angle at the hip creases and the ankles and the knees. Soften through the shoulders, slide them down the back and together, resting flat on the earth beneath you. Notice the natural curve in the lower back. We want to keep that space right where it is. As we exhale and maybe give a little hug of the lower ribs towards the back. With your exhale, maybe that right foot taps down. Opening up the hip crease, not just floating the foot down. Inhale, allow it to come back up. Exhale, tap it down. We'll stay on the same side for now. Working that knee away from you and then tapping the foot down if possible. Noticing the core muscles supporting the posture, moving you into and out of. The breath initiating the movement. Next time you bring that knee up, find stillness. With your next exhale, the left foot taps down as you work that knee away from you. Open up the hip crease so the leg extends, the knee opens a little, and then exhales back up again. Do what feels organic for you. I'm only offering suggestions. Becoming aware of the core muscles, aware of the lower back. Not allowing the front ribs to pop up to the ceiling, keeping that neutral spine. The breath moves freely. Maybe 2 more rounds like this. Maybe you're backing out of it. Always the option to come to stillness. Both feet float to the earth. The feet walk to the width of the mat. The knees fall together. Allowing the focus to come back to the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Notice where you feel your breath settle. Using the exhales to release any gripping or tension, allowing the breath to move into the entire back body so that we can soften through the hips and the sacrum, and the lower back. Letting go of all that sitting we've been doing. Two more rounds of breath like this. And with your next inhale, allow the knees to float open over the ankles, keeping the feet the width of the mat. With your exhale, both knees float over to the left. With your inhale, they float up to center. With your exhale, right. Inhaling up, exhaling over and reclining windshield wiper. Allowing the hips to lift. Keeping the shoulders resting on the earth, twisting from the waist down. Not forcing the knees to the earth, just allowing gravity to do its thing and give a little gentle tug. Maybe two more rounds of breath like this. And then floating up to stillness, walking the feet back to hips distance, rolling over onto one side or the other, using your arm as a pillow. Maybe drawing the knees up a little closer to your chest. And allowing the back body to start to open. Moving the breath into that space you've created. Soften through the shoulders, the jaw. Maybe the forehead comes a little closer to the knees and you lengthen through the back of the neck and start to round forward without closing off the throat. And with your next exhale, the belly gathers, using your arms to press the earth away and draw yourself up as you extend that top leg to come up and over onto all fours. Taking the time to pad your knees, finding your tabletop. I hope you all can hear me. Wrist creases are in front of the shoulders. Fingers spread wide, pads of the fingers root into the earth. Shoulders slide away from the ears. Finding your cat and cow. With your exhale, the tailbone tucks the spine, rounds to the ceiling. Maybe the top of the head, the crown of the head floats towards the earth. Inhaling, tailbone lifts, belly softens, heart reaches between the arms. Maybe you lift the gaze, exhaling and inhaling, rolling in and out of your cat and cow. And this should feel good. Using the breath to initiate the practice. Exhaling one vertebra at a time, lengthens toward the ceiling. Inhaling, tailbone lifts. Sternum reaches to where the wall meets the ceiling. Gaze lifts maybe without efforting into the back of the neck. With your next inhale, finding stillness there. And with your exhale, draw the right hip to the right shoulder towards the right hip, opening up through the left side body. Couple of rounds of breath here. Inhale back to neutral. Exhaling left hip, left shoulder. Breathing into the right side body. Moving from side to side as you wag your tail. Moving from the waist or at the waist. Shoulders stay right where they are. Arms are strong without locking out the elbows. And then coming to stillness, exhale, gather the belly. Extend the tailbone in the direction of the heels, finding child pose. Maybe it feels better for you to walk your knees wide and float the belly between the thighs. Allowing the forehead to rest on something. Stacked hands, the earth, a blanket, a block if you have one. Breathing in, breathing out. Allow the breath to move onto the back body. Deep breath in. Deep, releasing, softening breath out. With your next exhale, gather the belly. With your inhale, coming back up into tabletop. Once you find your foundation, extend that right leg straight back. Curl the toes under, rest them on the earth. Reach into that heel, keeping the shoulders right where they are. Soften the back of the neck as you gaze to the earth. And with your next inhale, lifting that leg straight up to the ceiling. Extending, reaching that heel away from the hip. Maybe you have space to lift that leg a little higher without lifting the hip. Both hips parallel to the earth. Maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you're staying right here. Maybe you'd like to experiment with inhaling the opposite arm alongside your ear. Softening that arm in the shoulder socket. Inhaling, extending into the heel, reaching forward through the fingertips. And moving deeper by raising the thumb towards the ceiling. Easy breath in, soft breath out. Exhaling, that left hand lowers, crossing that right foot and back of the left. Let it come to the tops of the toes. Reach into those toes. Open up through the side body. Maybe gazing over that left shoulder to find those toes. Without efforting in the neck. Just noticing how this feels as you move the breath into that space. Softening where you need to. Inhale to come back to a neutral spine and draw that knee back to the earth. Take some hip circles here. The hips reach towards the heels, out to the side, forward of the hips, around and back. And then reversing those circles. And then finding stillness there in your tabletop. Find the foundation as you root into the pads of the fingers. And inhale, extend that left leg back, keeping everything else right where it is. Reaching into the heel. Exhale, gather the belly, and inhale, lift the leg. Reach into that heel, find some more space in the hip, and then reach that leg a little higher with that space. Both hips facing the earth, bottom ribs, front ribs hug up towards the ceiling, shoulders away from the ears, arms strong. Maybe experimenting with inhaling that right arm alongside your ear. The arm softens into the shoulder socket. And to go deeper, we lift the thumb towards the ceiling, extending into the leg, lifting through the arm. No effort, breath is smooth. With your exhale, that right hand floats down, crossing the left leg and back or over the right. And maybe gazing over that right shoulder to find the toes. And breathing into the left side body. Easy breath in, soft breath out. Inhaling back to a neutral spine and floating that knee down. And finding your child pose again. Knees together, knees wide, whatever feels right for you for 3 rounds of breath. Softening through the shoulders. Releasing through the hips. Breath moving into the space between the shoulder blades. Walking the fingertips forward without efforting out of the shoulders. Lifting the hips so you can curl the toes. And then reaching the hip creases back. Coming into our downward facing dog. Exhale, belly gathers. Lifting the knees and reaching the hip creases up to where the wall meets the ceiling. Bicycling out your dog. Maybe you've been practicing for the past month, maybe not. Be kind to yourself. Back out of anything that doesn't feel good. Bending one knee and then the other, noticing maybe one side feels a little different. Where do you feel sensation? Back of the thighs, hips, glutes. What have you been doing lately? Maybe coming to stillness in your downward dog. Just 2 rounds of breath here, reaching from the toes to the heels, softening the heels towards the earth, reaching the hip creases up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling. And with your next exhale, softening the knees to the earth and finding your child pose. Deep breath in, soft breath out. With your next exhale, the belly gathers and we inhale back up into tabletop. Inhale the right leg straight and back in view. Exhale, step it forward between the fingers. Curl the toes under of the right leg. Straighten that leg and step it forward. Inhale into half forward fold, knees are bent. Feet are hips distance, shoulder blades slide down the back, gazes to the floor. Find the foundation through the soles of the feet. Exhale, belly gathers, and inhale, hinge all the way up to stand. Roll through the shoulders, big circles, up to the ears, together and down the back. And forward a couple of times. And inhale the shoulders up to the ears and exhale, let them soften. Big inhale up, exhale, soften. One more time, inhaling up and exhaling down. Nice. Find the foundation, root into your Tadasana. As if you could stand on the circumference of your heels and then lengthening straight up through the crown of your head. Rooting to the earth, opening to the sky. The legs are active. The core is lifting as you inhale the ribs out of the hips, soften through the shoulders. Chin tucks slightly towards the notch in the collarbone, feeling a release in the back of the neck. Breathing in, breathing out. With your next inhale, allow the arms to float out, around, and up. Maybe palms touch and then they float to the heart center with your exhale. 2 more rounds like this. Reaching, floating, gathering the energy around you and bringing it to your heart center with your exhale. Last time, honoring your shoulders wherever you are today. And floating it to the heart center, allowing the thumbs to rest against the sternum. Connecting with your breath. Easy breath in, soft releasing breath out as you root into the earth. Allow lightness in the heart space, front and back of the heart. Fill with breath. Allowing the arms to extend towards the earth with your inhale. Exhale, find your foundation. Inhale, allow the arms to float out, around, and up. And with your exhale, hinge forward, maybe swan dive, maybe hands are at the heart. Inhaling to find length in that half forward fold. Crown of the head extends forward, flat back. Find the breath. With your next exhale, maybe you straighten into the backs of the knees a little. As you breathe into those hamstrings, maybe with your next exhale, you're able to hinge a little forward, closer to the earth. With your next inhale, come up a couple of inches. With your exhale, hinge towards the earth. Keeping the shoulder blades together on the back, moving in and out with your breath. Keeping the gaze to the floor. Keeping the back of the neck soft, allowing for the hamstrings, the hips, maybe the lower back to have a gentle opening. The next time you exhale, find stillness there, press into the feet, soften the backs of the knees, and inhale yourself all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center. Nice. Allow the weight to shift into the left leg. Maybe the hands come to the hips. Coming onto the toes of the right. Nice. Find the foundation. Root into that standing leg. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And maybe with your exhale, that left foot floats or steps back. Coming into your warrior one. Maybe you need to walk that right foot a little farther open. Do you feel safe? Do you feel supported? With your next exhale, settling the hips straight down to bend into that front knee. Soften through the shoulders, but lengthen through the heart space. Maybe you inhale the arms up into cactus, to goddess arms. Reaching back and down into the heel of the back foot, the straight leg. Exhaling, drawing that hip up. Breathing into that opening of that hip crease. The bent knee leg is strong and the muscles hug to the bone. With your next exhale, maybe you hinge forward in the direction of that thigh. And with your inhale, you come back up to neutral spine. It doesn't have to be a big movement. Exhaling, hinging forward, keeping equal weight in both feet, reaching into that back heel, actively pressing into that front foot. Last time, coming all the way up. Exhale, float those arms down. Step that back foot forward. Shake it out, let it go. Take a shoulder loop, allow the shoulder blades to soften down the back. Find that foundation again, connect with the breath. Allowing the weight to shift into the opposite leg, coming onto the toes. So now you're standing on your right leg, is that right? Yes. Bent, left knee is bent, and you're stepping or sliding that leg back. Just do the opposite of what you did before. Inhale there, exhale, find that foundation, open it up, walk that front foot over to have a wider foundation, a wider base if you need it. Feel safe and supported. Maybe you choose to stay right here today. Maybe with your exhale, the hips settle and that knee bends. As you keep weight on the outside of that back heel, soften through the shoulders. Breath in, breath out. Maybe you inhale the arms up into goddess arms. Exhale, root down. Inhale, lengthen the ribs out of the hips. Exhaling there. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe with your next exhale, you keep the shoulder blades together and hinge forward at the hip crease. Keep reaching into that back heel, press into that front foot. Inhale all the way up to stand. Not only are the legs working, the core is allowing you to keep a straight spine and hinge forward, and then allowing you to draw yourself up to a neutral spine. How does this feel? How is your breath? Back out of anything that doesn't feel good. Next time you inhale up, find stillness. Float the arms down. Step that back foot forward. Shake it out, let it go. Find your Tadasana again and connect with the breath. Maybe one hand comes over the heart center. Deep inhale. Softening, releasing, exhale. And allowing the hands to float to the hips. Allowing the weight to shift into the right leg. Coming onto the toes of the left. Root into that standing leg. Find length through the back body. A rooting into the foundation and a softness through the crown of the head. Maybe you inhale and open up that left knee, resting the foot against the ankle, the heel against the ankle, with the toes on the earth. Maybe this is your tree pose today. Maybe you have a wall or a piece of furniture nearby and you can use it to steady yourself. Even as you root into the standing leg, you press that foot into the leg into the foot, lengthening through the crown of the head, and maybe you can lift the toes. Breathing in, breathing out. Maybe the hands stay on the hips. Maybe you inhale them to the heart center. Maybe one hand is on that piece of furniture so that you can feel the connection to the earth, the opening through the front of the hip as you draw that knee back, the strength of the standing leg, and the ease of the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. With your inhale, that knee floats forward. Maybe it extends straight out in front of you, and then it floats to the earth. And you find your Tadasana, our starting pose again. Landing in your feet. allowing the weight to shift into the left leg, coming onto the toes of the right. Rooting down and softening up. Maybe opening up that right knee, allowing the heel to rest against the ankle. Finding the strength of the standing leg and the work of that bent knee leg to draw to the room and back again. Maybe you're able to lift the toes. Maybe just the big toes on the floor. Maybe you're using the wall or a piece of furniture to help you find that balance, to connect to the earth, to lengthen through the crown of the head and allow the breath to be easeful. Letting go of any expectations of what this should or shouldn't look like, of what you could or couldn't do a month ago. Just being right here, right now. With your inhale, that knee floats forward. Maybe the leg extends straight out in front of you. Then it finds the earth again. And you find your breath. Maybe softly closing your eyes. Making the inhales and the exhales the same length. And with your inhale, the arms float out around and up. And with your exhale, they come to the heart center. With your inhale, finding length. With your exhale, hinging forward. Inhaling there, exhaling, deeply bend the knees, let the hands come to the earth, step one knee back and then the other. Your choice, downward facing dog or child pose. Maybe you exhale the hips to the heels, keeping the toes tucked, and inhale, extend the hips up and back. Maybe you're floating into child pose. There is no right or wrong, just what feels good for you at this moment. Maybe staying in downward dog for a few rounds of breath, and then when you're ready, floating back or down into child pose, meeting us there. Three rounds of breath in your child pose. Moving the breath into the back body, the back of the heart. Expanding the ribs open, lungs fill. Exhaling, we soften. Your next inhale, come back up onto all fours. Let the hips come to the heels come to one side, and the legs extend straight out in front of you. Nice. Take your hands in front of your shins. Use that foundation to inhale and lift and lengthen straight up through the crown of the head, lengthening through the back body. Feeling the core engaged, drawing you up and forward. Soften through the shoulders. Exhale, the pit of the belly gathers. And maybe you open up into boat pose. Maybe the hands come in back of the thighs. Maybe the thighs open, the hands open to the ceiling. Nice. Careful of the lower back, keeping that length no matter where you are. Opening up onto the top of the sacrum. And when you're ready with your exhale, you're slowly carving out the belly or coming to the elbows and lowering yourself down to the earth. Extending one leg and then the other. Allowing the spine to come to neutral. Safe, secure, allowing the earth to hold you. Find the breath. Aware of the back body. Opening up towards the earth with the inhale. And exhaling, gently floating away. With your next exhale, the belly gathers and one knee and then the other draws in for a hug. Maybe getting some movement here. Rocking, making circles with your knees, whatever feels right. Maybe happy baby is the right place for you as the knees draw to the armpits and open out to the sides of the ribs. Reflex the feet and float them up to the ceiling. One last hip, lower back opening or not. And when you're ready, the feet float back to the earth with bent knees. And maybe you have a pillow, a blanket, a block, something that you can use as a prop for legs up the wall. Maybe you're staying right here with the feet resting on the earth. Maybe you're tucking your shoulders underneath the heart space and sliding them away from the ears. Pressing into the feet, lifting the hips so you can place a prop under your hips or not. Maybe you're just extending the legs straight up to the ceiling for a few rounds of breath. Maybe you have bent knees. Maybe the legs are wide and settled into the hip sockets. The feet are soft. Finding the breath in this inversion, or maybe resting in supported bridge. What feels good for you? Aware of the breath as it softens in the body. Allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm. Filling that space below the collarbone. Breathing into the heart space. And when you're ready, the knees bend and the feet float back to the earth. Removing a prop if you've placed one there. And then extending the legs straight out in front of you again. Maybe inhaling, the arms extend straight overhead or wherever your shoulders allow them to land. We interlace the fingers to the webbing, softening the pinkies out of that bind. And reverse the palms away from you. Deep breath in, softening breath out. Releasing that bind with the exhale, one knee and then the other draws in for a hug, getting some movement. And then the feet float back to the earth. Maybe exhaling the knees over the hips, as if you were in chair pose or sitting in a chair, And one knee and then the other floats over to the right. For a final spinal twist, the shoulders rest flat on the earth. Arms extend out in T with the palms facing up. Lengthening from armpit to hip, from hip to knee, and softening there. Aware of the breath. Where do you feel it move easily? Can you allow it to move a little deeper, just by softening, not by forcing? With your exhale, the belly gathers. With your inhale, the knees float up to the ceiling, and exhale over to the other side. Softening there. Maybe this side's a little different. And you honor that and release into wherever your body is today, breathing into that side body, lengthening from armpit to hip, from hip to knee. Extending into the fingertips as you breathe into the heart space. And with your inhale, the knees float back up to center. Taking any final movement to complete this practice. And then settling in for Shavasana. Covering up if you need to, getting a pillow for the back of your head or under your knees. To allow a comfortable resting into the earth. Choosing stillness. And settling into that stillness, using those exhales to soften, to let go of any remaining gripping and tension. Following the breath. Releasing into that support beneath you. Allowing gravity to secure you. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Just resting right here with the breath. Easy breath in, soft breath out. The entire body becomes heavy into the earth beneath you. Softening the space between the eyes. Allowing the eyes to rest heavy into the back of the head. The forehead melts towards the earth, and all the muscles surrounding the eyes soften and release. The jaw softens, allowing the tongue to slip away from the roof of the mouth. The lips softly meet, and all the muscles in the face melt towards the earth. Following the breath, witnessing the breath in and the breath out, your natural rhythm. Maybe attaching a color or a mantra to the breath. Maybe just bringing the focus to the tip of your nose. Right there for the breath in. Right there for the last of the breath out. Using the breath to draw you back. To honor whatever comes up. Thoughts, feelings, physical sensations. Without attaching to it, we honor it, allow it to float away, and gently draw the focus back to watching the breath. Just for now. As we allow the mind, the body, and the spirit to come back into balance. Using the breath. Resting here. And I'll be here to guide you out. Slowly becoming aware of your body resting on the earth beneath you. Becoming aware of the space surrounding you. As you gently deepen your inhales and exhales. Slowly bringing your body back from stillness. Softly rubbing your thumbs against your fingertips. Wiggling your toes. Maybe slowly turning your head from side to side. And with a deep awakening inhale, maybe extending the arms up overhead, interlacing the fingers to the webbing and reversing the palms away from you. And releasing that bind and floating the arms to a comfortable position as you step one foot and then the other softly onto the earth. Transitioning here. Feeling more awake and alert with every inhale, relaxed and peaceful. And knowing that you can come back to this place of peace just by returning to the breath. Using your arm as a pillow, rolling over to one side or the other. Allowing the breath to fill the back of the heart, to extend to fill the entire back body. And bringing to mind the intention you started your practice with, and repeating that I am statement softly to yourself one more time. Resisting the urge to open your eyes if that suits you, press into the earth and draw yourself up into a comfortable, easy seat, whatever that is for you. And with your inhale, the arms extend. And with your exhale, the palms float together and rest at the heart center. And we lift our hearts and we bow our heads to honor that perfect light that shines in all of us and unites us. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
That was wonderful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank
Well-
you so much, Marie.
Thank you for being patient with my first time. I'll try and make this available. It's going to be weird. You shouldn't have to see it at all because I rarely modeled. You could rarely see me. I'm not used to being on a screen. And know that I don't know if it was easy or hard for you to see me, to hear me rather, but more important to be able to hear me than be able to see me, right? It doesn't really matter where you are. If it feels good and you're not doing the same thing the rest of us are, it doesn't matter. I've done the same thing when I practice with other people. So was it easy to hear or no?
Yes,
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Joanne.
It felt like we were there.
Hi, everyone.
Saying hello,
Thank you so
Barbara.
much.
And hi. Hi.
Thanks,
will we
Marie.
do it again?
Sure,
Good.
we will. I'll send out another an email because I want to get whoever really wants to come, not just limit it to you guys. So I'll set up another one. I know we don't have anywhere to go, but people are working from home like Joanne. So are Mondays and Wednesdays still good days? Does it matter?
And
Fine with
I
me.
have a Zoom exercise Tuesday and Thursday morning, so Monday,
Nice.
Wednesday is good.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So sounds good to me. All right, guys. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank
Great
you.
to see everybody.
Stay well.
Thank you.
Stay well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Janet, good to see you. Bye, Marie.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Marie. Thank you.